furniture. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
We love you. We hope you do because we want to do more. Jamie and I are really good techies. Nobody else has to work on the set when we're working. Do it all. Testing. 1, 2.
3, 4. I wish I could sing because I know you can.
Oh, I was just going to say, we're about to sing. What's that song about in the winter? The two people? Never mind.
Maybe it's cold outside.
Yes!
Oh, yes!
I can't sing.
We'll do it at the end.
But maybe it's cold outside.
So...
Well, we really can't stay.
Say that.
That's the lyric from the song.
Oh, it is a lyric.
It is.
Under the radar.
He's really tempting me.
Well, you should do it.
No, I don't sing.
So, I guess we're here to answer questions. Isn't that the brief that you got, Mary?
Yeah. I guess before we start, we met a lot of you today at the tables, and it's really been a pleasure to hear your comments about the show and to feel your commitment. And you're very, very kind to us today. Because when you're sitting there signing, you don't really know who you'll meet or what'll happen. And I think both Jamie and I felt today that it was a particularly kind and gentle group of people, so thank you. We appreciate that. But basically, we're here to answer anything that we can. Sometimes we can't because of spoilers, etc. So
spoilers.
we just want to throw some questions out there. Jamie will answer all of them.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. He said congratulations on season 4. So we're happy.
Wait.
You want to start?
Sure.
Okay.
Actually, this is for Jamie. I was wondering, how long did it take for you to master an American accent for the show?
You're very kind. It's a work in progress, and I haven't mastered it. It's something that as actors we take on occasionally, and they're a lot of fun to do, and it's a discipline, and you try and get it so comfortable that you forget about it, and at times you forget about it just too much, and I can hear it coming through. But it's a challenge, and I love doing it. I love the character. It's just another aspect of the character that is a challenge to take on. But thank you very much for the compliment.
Yeah. We would have. There's a bunch of us that put a message on Sci-Fi, the website, for you when you did the Q&A. It was about Adar because we're very intrigued with how you came up with a relationship between Rosalind and Adar. So can you talk a little bit about that and what you think their relationship was like and why she stayed with him so long?
Yeah, I think it was one of those situations that, I think some single women find themselves in, particularly when they're working in high echelons of power. There was a very close working relationship. Unfortunately, he was married, so the intimacies of that relationship were pretty private and mysterious. But I think that she had a great deal of respect for him as well. Unfortunately, though, there were a few areas where they kind of disagreed, and that happened just prior to things falling apart for all of us. So how that relationship would have evolved, I think it probably would have ended. But there's a little bit of a power struggle in the relationship, and there was an affair, we believe, that had been going on for years. And I just thought that was all interesting, so.
We picked up on sort of the way that in the miniseries Laura talked about Adar.
I was always telling him about Adar. Remember when Jamie and I used to be in scenes together? Way back. What's with that? Everybody write to them and ask that. We're always saying, what happened to us?
Was that the scene when you wrote Olympic hair on a piece of paper and put it in your pocket?
Yes.
I like that scene.
And I talked about Adar, that's
You
right.
did,
Yeah.
That's what he used to do. He used to write it down and put it away.
He used to write the things down and put them in his pockets.
Clever man.
He was very clever.
Over here, I think.
This one's for Paula. Just out of curiosity, what is your favorite line actually from the show? Laura for us?
My favorite line from the show.
It's got to be great.
I think it's Laura, I love you.
Yeah, it's subtext. in every scene.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I love the way Eddie growls. How about, you gotta roll a hard 6. Whatever that means. Over there.
How did it start for you both as actors? How did you get these parts? What did you think when you first heard about getting this? And how has it been since the show's gotten more popular? And now you're at conventions for the rest of your life, depending on how your career goes on.
That might be all we do. I speak for myself. I speak for Barry, what do you want to say that?
That was a lot of
Yes,
questions.
but-
I'll just deal with the first part. We were sent these scripts, and I think all of us were surprised by the level of brilliance in the writing. And I think that really is, if you'd ask any actor in the group, that's what drew us to it. I personally kind of giggled when I heard that they'd offered it to me, and I happened to be at lunch. The cliche. I was at Spago in Hollywood with my agent, which I never do. Ever. I'm serious, one and only time. And they sat down and said, "We have an offer for you," and I said, "Oh, good. How much?" And then they told me, and I said, "Oh, that's very nice. What is it?" And they said, "Well, it's a mini-series, and it's Battlestar Galactica," and I just laughed because I thought it was preposterous to me. I couldn't put myself in that world. It's so pristine. I'm so earthy. It's just none of it, right? But I took it home and read it, and that's basically all it took for me. Jamie?
Nobody made me an offer. And I wasn't anywhere near Spargo's. I was doing a god-awful TV show in the UK, and I had a little break, and I was contemplating life and what was going to come, and I thought, well, let's go to LA and just see what happens. So my manager shoved me this script on the first night I was staying with him, and he shoved me this script, and it said Battlestar Galactica, and I had a sort of a sphincter contracting moment when I thought, that's just not right. I don't want that anywhere near me. But he didn't have anything else for me, and I'd come all the way from the UK, so I thought I'd read it. And I forgot after about a page that this was something that I used to watch as a kid. Because it really was an incredible script, the miniseries. And I really did forget anything about my childhood memories about the show. And I just, then from that moment, I was really keen to audition for it, and I had to do a pre-read with the casting director, and I went in to do that, and I got through that one, and went to the producers, and then to the director.
Then he had to do an audition for me.
And then yes, Miss McDonnell called up from across town.
I said, I like that man with the accent. Might we get him?
I was wearing a Domino's cap, and I brought pizza. No, it was an amazing 2 weeks, because on the very last night, I tested that day, and I got the call that I'd got the role, and so it was a life-changing couple of weeks, and very memorable for me.